All right, so this evening we're going to be looking at developing high performance teams. For those of us in the facility management industry, you would agree with me that there is hardly any task, any goal we want to accomplish, any piece of work that we want to do that does not require us to work with people. Developing high performance teams is the only way we can succeed in our jobs as facility managers, because we always need to understand human beings, people that make up our teams. There's hardly anything we do in facilities that is a solo activity. There's always someone that we need to interface or relate with. If you think about it, even the reports that you submit as an FM has inputs from different team members within the organization. Whether you want to perform procurement, whether you want to perform, any kind of service to your clients, you always need to coordinate with several members of your team. So team work in facility management is very critical. And this is becoming the norm for most industries now. So no matter the work you perform or the work you do, there's a high probability now that you need to work as a part of a team, as the leader of the team, or as someone who creates teams to get things done. And that's why we're looking at this class of developing high performance teams as part of our workplace productivity series, which is running for 6 days this January. We had the first one yesterday, which was on goal setting and getting things done. For those who were not in yesterday's class and you wish to see the class, please visit Max-Migold channel on YouTube, and you will have the full class recording on YouTube. For those of your friends and colleagues who are not also in this class, who may want to see it, please share with them. Just go to the Max-Migold YouTube channel and share the link to the class, because it is live right now and it will always be there for them to see as they come in or anytime. Okay. All right. It is easy to talk about high performance teams, but what does it mean to say my team is a high performance team? Or what does it mean to say I want to have a high performance team? Those are some of the things we want to be considering in this class this evening. How can you form them? How can you keep them together? How can you achieve goals? Because when we set goals yesterday, we talked a lot about personal goals, but there are a lot of the things we achieve as individuals and in the work that we do that we cannot do on our own. There are so many that we need to do in form of teams and to work with people. And that's why we need to understand how to develop high performance teams. It's a team that actually can get things done. In this workshop, we're going to be looking at how to address challenges related to performance and how to get our teams up to speed, how to work collaboratively. Some people get this feeling, or they express this desire to work alone. I don't like working in teams. I don't like working with people. But you know, the news for you is that if you're in facility management, you can't help it. There's really nothing you want to do alone. There's really nothing you want to deliver as facility manager that you don't need to work with one or two other persons with you. So let's face that reality and understand that collaboration is the way to go in our industry. And this is becoming prevalent in most other industries. So we're going to define high performance teams. We're going to look at remote workforce. Nowadays there's a lot going for remote working. Due to COVID and the improvement in technology for telepresence that's making us able to work collaboratively remotely. High performance teams, what are the characteristics of high performance team? How do you know your team is a high performance team, and how can you create one if you do not have a high performance team? What is the role of communication in effectiveness of teams? And then how can you train people to become high performers, to be able to actually deliver at a peak of their performance? What kind of training, what kind of focus should you have? And then how do you manage a team? A team that's already high performing, and you have them, have that team, and you're happy to have that team with you. But do you know what it takes to not allow the team to dwindle, to lose focus, or to stop achieving their goals or their productivity? So how do you manage the team? And so we're going to look at some of the tools, including how to manage meetings. One of the things that we do as team leaders or our team members is to work together in committees and in meetings where we have discussions around things that needs to be done. How do you hold meetings that are effective, that do not constitute a waste of time, the people that you have invited to participate in the meeting? So those are some of what we're going to be looking at in today's class. Like I said yesterday, everyone who wants to have the complete lesson, want to have the training material, want to have the certificates for this, class of this course in developing high performance team, should go to courses.max-migold.com. Courses.max-migold.com is our learning management system that holds more than 150 courses, all workplace productivity, desktop skills that you all need to develop, cover up certain gaps in your skill level, and be able to excel that to the level you desire. So go to courses.max-migold.com and take this course online and get your certificate after answering the quiz questions that are there. Everything is available there for just 5,000 naira. And you can get selected certificates instead of having to train in areas that are not relevant to your job. Just select areas that are specific to the gaps that you want to fill. If it's Excel, if it's Microsoft Project, if it is leadership, if it is report writing, if it is proposal development, whatever the content, if it's call center or sales that you have challenging because you have those kind of duties and you are not able to meet up, go on to courses.max-migold.com and select through all of these and take them one at a time. So that's very flexible. You don't even need to pay into your bank account. You just log in, use your card to pay through Paystack that's integrated to that e-learning center. And you can take your course, earn a certificate. It's a Max-Migold certificate, which is highly recognized in the industry. And you can be sure that you have learned something significant that will help you to make progress this 2021. All right, so a high performance team, we expect to develop a level of loyalty from the team members. People tend to enjoy their work environment when they already have, they already perceive themselves as making an impact. There's less turnover. People feel qualified for the work that they do. And there's a lot of intrinsic motivation. So the thing about motivation is there's so much focus on extrinsic motivation. These are motivations that are external to the work. These are motivations that are as a result of the things we do. For example, what we get for the work we do, our pay, our rewards, our commissions, our leave, and all that. Those are perks that come. They are extrinsic to the job. But what gives you the best form of motivation is the intrinsic. Intrinsic motivation is actually found within the job itself. Within the job itself. So you are doing a job and you are feeling satisfied because of the characteristics of the job. If you are part of a team that delivers excellence, is recognized for excellence, is contributing significant achievement, to the overall organization's goal, you will have that satisfaction, you'll have that sense of belonging. That is a reward that is strong enough to motivate you to stay on and do the things that you enjoy. Productivity in a high performance team is always optimum. There is trust between members of a high performance team. They are able to talk to each other. They are able to learn from each other. They are able to work together efficiently. What it means is that each person is able to balance out the other. So if I have a certain skill that the next person does not have, he taps into that skill that I have to achieve the group's or the team's goal, and I tap into the skill that he has to achieve the team's goal. That's how a work team that is high performance operates. Collaboration requires mutual respect. Now, respect, we'll talk about respect coming from the leader. If you want to develop a high performance team, you must develop a high sense of respect for your team members. But again, as individuals within the team, it's very important that you have mutual respect for each other. Because if you are working together, you must be working together towards achieving a defined goal, a certain goal that each person can relate with. That single goal becomes the unifying factor for all members of that team. So you work together respectfully because you are all focused on that single goal. And then when you have diversity of opinions, what happens? You don't end up in a ditch together. The whole idea of a high performance team is that people are allowed to bring diverse opinions, and those opinions are harnessed into the best that will lead that team to the goal that is set for themselves or that is set for them. Different points of view are always accommodated. If you want to know whether you are in a high performance team or not, observe how people react when there is a single divergent view on the topic. When we all agree on one direction, on one decision, on one pattern of thinking, and our mindset is set in one way, observe what happens to the person who thinks differently, who asks a question, like trying to put in a spanner into the wheel or trying to ask a question to express something that is divergent or different. If that person is treated nicely, that idea is listened to, and that idea is considered, and that person is given the opportunity to understand what the majority have accepted, then you know you are having a high performance team. If that person is shut down immediately and ridiculed immediately, be rest assured you're not having a high performance team. The work that we give to people, the task, you must learn to put a square peg in a square hole, we say, right? So everybody are assigned to tasks for which they have strength, and tasks that the result will be significantly noticed in terms of visibility in the organization. Then the entire team will get a sense of how everybody's task completion is leading to the overall team's objective or goals achievement. If you are part of a team and all you are told to do is a certain piece of work, you don't understand how that piece of work as a piece of a puzzle that makes a big picture, how that your own piece of the puzzle fits into the big picture, you are not in a high performance team. If at any point in time you are performing your own aspect of the work and you cannot relate with how your own improvement or your own progress is leading to the overall achievement of the goal of the entire team, you are not in a high performance team. These are just telltale signs that you look out for. So when you know you're not in a high performance team, you begin to tell yourself, what can we do to become a high performance team? Everybody knows the tasks that have been assigned to each other. Each person is performing his own task. He knows how his own task completion is contributing to the overall achievement. He knows how his own progress is affecting the progress of the entire team. He knows what each other team member are also contributing to the work that we're trying to achieve. Competition can become a problem in any organization. When you are starting out putting together a team, there's often that storming stage. Storming stage will show up some elements of competition between team members. When competition is healthy, we call that gamification, where people set for themselves challenges to achieve certain things as part of the overall team's goal. That in itself is healthy. What is unhealthy is to have unhealthy competition where team members fight among each other for power and control. This kind of competition is not about achieving the overall goal of the team. It's about how to outwit each other. If you find yourself in this rubbing of shoulders, watching your back environment, unhealthy competition where you are always afraid to make a false move or you'll be shut down, that is an unhealthy environment. That is not a high performance team. To address competition at the beginning, competition and conflict are natural, and team members should be prepared to face it from the beginning. But then make everybody's role to be clear. Each person must understand exactly what they are trying to do and what their own contribution will be to the team. Because you don't want to have unhealthy competition. Treat all team members, if you're the leader of the team, with equal respect, without any favoritism. In fact, with time, as you grow as a leader, you will find that favoritism and certain sentimental decision-making patterns will erode your leadership and power in your team. You must be sincere. Employees know when the sole goal of high-performance team is to make more money. They need to understand how the change benefits them. Don't let people feel that they're just tools or pawns in your hands to achieve whatever you are trying to achieve. No. You must ensure that people understand how the additional challenge, for example, will affect them. How the additional achievements or the goals that have been set will fit into a big picture that they all feel committed to. And then appreciate people for the steps that they take towards the progress that you set. Have an open communication. Divide and rule does not foster a high performance team. It doesn't. Open communication means that people know well in advance what's in your mind while you are giving them a particular task. So basically, you are spelling out the end from the beginning. You are creating a big picture and you are selling that imagery to the team members. Avoid negativism or negativity. It destroys productivity. Okay? It's true that high performance teams will improve productivity. Productivity should not be the primary force of the team. too much focus can be placed on productivity sometimes. When this happens, other important factors may be overlooked. Communication, for example, individual satisfaction with the job. These are things that you cannot pin down. A culture can be developed around a very erratic kind of leadership, irrational, harsh, a drive for productivity. That's not what we're talking about here. Because you can get short-term boost in productivity, but you don't create a culture that is self-sustaining through that kind of short-term boost. A self-sustaining culture can be built when everybody feels as partners. They feel themselves being part of the process of starting and creating that environment of success. Fear of failure will cause a team to lose heart and damage performance. Fear reduces confidence and enthusiasm. When people are afraid of making mistakes, they are less likely to explore new ideas. And this is very important. Sometimes you'll be in some teams where someone has to be punished for every mistake. Every little error, something has to be bumped for it. Someone has to pay for it. If you've been in certain environments where you see people being edgy, where you see an employee almost going to push you over for trying to enter into the wrong door in the organization, for example, right? You see them virtually shouting and screaming on you, don't caring about your impression about the business. They're just watching their backs. They're just trying to avoid falling into pitfalls that leads them to be lampooned for consistently. The environment where you walk in and for every mistake, every error that is noticed, somebody's salary is cut to cover it. Somebody's rewards or benefits is withdrawn for it. Someone is punished in one way or the other. That kind of environment where creativity is completely shut down. People don't explore options that can bring win-win solutions when they meet obstacles. If you are the owner of such an organization and you put a camera just to observe how work is conducted when you are not there, I'm sure you're going to have, shivers run down your spine. You'll be shocked to see how many of your customers will be driven away just because of the way you have made your employees work like automatons, like machines that can't make any mistake. They can't think anymore. They only do what they are told. And if what they are told is not available at that time, it's not in the book, then that's it. It's shut down. They don't do anything. It becomes a culture of fear, a culture of self-preservation, a culture of watching your back. Please don't threaten people. You never create a high-performance team through threats. Let it be a culture of collaboration. Now, for me, the way I approach this, I'll give you some practical way I approach this. I like a situation where you are able to teach people what to do. Allow the benefit of the doubt that it is a mistake when some things happen even after you have taught it. Put some rules in place, like boundaries, to ensure that people don't unnecessarily take the latitude, set certain rules, and communicate this openly. But if someone has been taught, has been given grace, has been part of the rules and understands the rules, and goes on to willfully destroy team efforts or results, then don't fail to punish. I'm not teaching that you should become a country club leader who wants everybody to like him and wants to like everybody no matter what. No, that's not what I'm teaching here. Just don't be draconian, don't be authoritarian in your approach. Don't create a system of management by fear in running your organization. That's what I'm teaching here. So as a leader, you want to make your team very effective. Technician teams, cleaning crews. I hear some people say, oh, my cleaners, oh, no matter how many times you talk to them, they will not, oh, this is not working, that is not working. Sometimes you give somebody a dustpan and a broom and say, go and sweep. That's what you told him to go and do. You've not sat this person down to say, we have this and that type of customers who use this space. This is what they're trying to achieve. As part of providing the ambience for them to achieve this, they need to be healthy. They need to have fresh environments. They are the reason why we have the jobs that we are doing. And then get some kind of additional information, impressions shared from those people you are talking to before you even get to the part of cleaning. Because we are going to clean. Yes, I know, but do they know why? We are very good at telling people what to do, how to do it, when to do it. We miss out on the most important knowledge that we should share. Why do we do the things we do? Promote understanding. People need to see themselves as part of a big result. I'm doing a small thing, it's just cleaning. It's not just cleaning. I'm keeping a very important producer healthy. Can we communicate that way? Can we develop goals that people can own, that can feel that they are part of? Can we share the philosophy of our organization down to the level that the lowest person in the organization can comprehend, can absorb, can feel that he owns this value of philosophy of organization? Because that's how you, as a leader, can create a high performance team. What about the knowledge people need to execute their job? So people come to your environment with all kinds of biases. This will happen. Some come with their natural strengths and abilities. There are all kinds of gaps between the natural strength and ability, the learned and trained skills, and the work you're asking them to do. It is
Alone, so big. Ọlọ́run gbà. Ọlọ́run so big.
Thank you for that.
Amos, mute your mic. Amos, mute your mic.
Cannot be expected to work well without the knowledge and tools that they need to be successful. It's imperative that the team leader understands the strength of each team member. The understanding will ensure that people have jobs for which they are qualified and that they have the knowledge that they need If there are knowledge gaps, identify it quickly. It is possible that someone's been on a job for 6 months, 9 months, even a year, and no one has actually sat down to listen to this person and say, what are you struggling with? What are you finding hard to achieve? How can we close this gap? Knowledge gaps. And you know why? Because most of the times you employ people based on titles. A cleaner, clean. A plumber, come and work. Electrician, come and work. No, you should employ people based on the scope of work, the knowledge, skills, and abilities, KSAs, required to execute that job, all defined in a document called a job description. So when somebody comes in to fill that role, you do a skill and knowledge analysis on the person by using questionnaires and giving the person practical assignments. Based on that, you come up with the person's abilities. You compare it to the job description and the KSAs you've defined at the beginning, and you say there are certain gaps. We can close out this gap by doing in-house training. We can put you as a mentee to observe someone on this other gap. We can put you to go for a training in so and so place, and so on and so forth. You can now create all kinds of programs to ensure those gaps are closed. It doesn't help to have people on jobs that you know that there are skill gap, but you're paying them every month on that role without thinking of how to close the gaps. Not effective at all. Let team members be able to interact with each other, and you as a leader be open to questions from your team members. Listen, and then work with them to solve problems. Some people are very good at coming to dump their monkeys on you. They will come and ask lousy, very lousy questions. Even questions that they can easily flip 2 pages on a manual on their desk, for example, and find the answer. They will throw it to you, right? So as you are listening, I'm not saying create all the solutions and give to everybody every time they come to the problem to you. No. Refer them to where the solution is. Let them find it and come and tell you what they have found. If you create that kind of interaction, they will come with more questions, but next time the questions will be more intelligent. What about meetings? We hold meetings all the time. We put people together in a room and we start yari, talking. We don't even know exactly why we are there. Some people are in a meeting that holds for 2 hours. They've never said a word. In fact, there's no contribution required of them. There's really no assignment being given to them from the meeting. Why are they in that meeting? And then others come to meetings for which they have no idea what is going to be discussed. They just know it's a routine meeting that happens at so time of the so period or so interval, but they don't know what they're going to discuss. And so what do? They just come there and sit down. And when anything significant is being discussed, what do you find? They are either talking out of context, tell you they are not prepared with the answer, and they will have something ready by next week, which means this week has been wasted. Why do you host such meetings? There should be no meeting people attend without an agenda. And there should be no meeting that people attend to see the agenda. No, they should already know the agenda before they came. They should also know what they will be bringing into the meeting, their contribution, so that they can prepare and make it effective for everybody. Meetings do not necessarily need to be long to be effective. In fact, the shorter the meeting, the better. I can assure you from my experience, meetings of 35 to 45 meetings are the most effective of all meetings. 35 to 45 minutes, max. And you have some meetings just stretching on and on and on. Somebody is asked to give a remark, for goodness sake. The remark has just one point in it, but it takes 15 minutes to make that one point. Even kindergarten children will be bored at that time. But of course, you have a captive audience and you feel like expressing yourself. Everybody will just be forced to listen. Well, if they also feel the need to be productive with their time, they probably will challenge you. If they're empowered enough to challenge you, they'll challenge you and say, why are we doing this to ourselves? Create rules. Okay, I just noticed my slides are not displayed, so let me share it now. Thank you for pointing that out to me. So people should know the roles they will perform in a meeting ahead of the meeting. In fact, if you are conducting a meeting and you are the leader of the meeting, don't also be the gatekeeper. Get someone else, be the gatekeeper, who will operate as a timekeeper, who will tell you your time is up. You've taken your 10 minutes on this topic. We are supposed to move to the next topic. We have reached a landing on this. Someone who will be able to control pace. And then do not allow meetings end after plenty talk. And everything is we will. You know that we will is nobody will. So the meeting will come up with specific action. So this is what we discussed. This is what action we arrived at. This is who will do it. This is when that is to be done and the expectation set. 4 or 5 columns. That's all. Action item meetings. Not verbosity, long stories. No. It doesn't matter who said what in a meeting. No. Once the final decision is taken on the topic, that topic is packed and action listed for individuals to perform. To build a high-performance team, everybody must have a common vision of the goals. And you, as a leader, must already first have the vision that you can now share with others. They need to see the big picture. They can't see the big picture if you don't provide them with the big picture. They need to see the future with you. Sometimes you are in a small team doing a very modest work, or in a small company, and it may look like, well, this my boss is you always like hyping this company or psyching us up with big talk. That is the kind of vision I'm talking about. Vision that is doable, that everybody see themselves being part of. They see the possibility of that vision becoming real. You sell that idea. Each person now feels the impetus to take one step at a time towards achieving or arriving at that end destination. And team goals have to be common, has to be in agreement. If people don't feel that they are part of a certain decision, they will continually feel that whatever they are doing is to aid a particular agenda, which is not their agenda. So instead of just assigning goals, it's best that you share with the team members the overall vision and ask each person to create goals or suggest goals that the team can work various milestones to achieve that overall vision. And then in prioritizing actions, also discuss what is more important at this time. What can we put first? What should we focus on next? And so on and so. We'll rank all of the goals and all of the activities that we need to perform as a team. Each person knows the priority. You don't begin to do something that is lesser priority while sacrificing something of a bigger priority, because you were part of the process of creating the priorities in the first place. Work collaboratively. High performance teams are able to work together. We've talked about this already, but it's important that we always work towards compromise, towards consensus, towards unanimity as much as possible. Now, there's something about this. High performance teams, remember from our discussions earlier on, are always divergent. In fact, it's usually a team that's always thinking in one direction, always moving in one pattern. It's not a high performance team. There'll be divergent views, but all of the divergent views are listened to, analyzed together, and when there is a decision is usually taken by consensus. Doesn't mean that everybody's ideas will always be taken all the time. No, that's not possible. That's confusion, isn't it? But when an idea becomes dominant, the other members of the team aligns. That's how you know a high performance team. If you still have somebody in the team who goes about bad-mouthing what we've discussed, we've analyzed, we've agreed, that person is not aligned. We're not yet having a high performance team. When you still have one or two persons who are still working from the fringes, hoping and praying that things fail so that they can say, didn't I say that? You've not done your work well as a team leader. Because the moment a decision is taken in a high performance team, everybody aligns. Everybody gives up the divergent opinions about it, and then they make it work. High performance teams will always produce results. So don't get carried away that, because we are always collaborating, always playing together, always going to parties together, always having fun together with a high performance team. No, a high performance team will always produce results. They will reach their goals, they will deliver results, they will work at a high standard. Some people have a way of, we'll cover for each other so that we can make mess things up and reduce our productivity and not produce much results. And after we are all friends. That is not what I'm talking about as a high performance team. The focus, what brings you together, what makes you one, what unites you should be results. If there are no results, then you should come back to the drawing table and say, look, we want to be a high performance team. We want to be able to produce results. How can we produce results? Then get more brainstorming into it. You're the team leader. You want to ensure that people know what they should know and do what they should do in contribution to the goal of the team. Provide adequate training. Sometimes people already know the kind of training they need because within themselves, they know their gaps. Listen. When you do performance appraisals or when you do one-on-one sessions with your staff, drill down into these gaps. And sometimes there will be need for changes in the organization. Somebody's moved from one position to the other, a department is formed, and someone is moved to go and head it, and so on and so forth. There will be need for people to have new responsibilities and new training. Do not overlook it. Don't think that people are always going to be creative, are always going to find solutions. No, provide the opportunity, create training. Sometimes we think of training, I always think about, we don't have money to pay for training. It's not every time you pay for training. A team that holds a 15 minutes toolbox talks every morning, for example, or have a session that they have built into their weekly operations meeting for learning on a topic that closes a gap, or introduces a cross-training opportunities where one expert in one area is able to share insights and knowledge to other members of the team on its area of specialization. You can do a lot of training in-house without even spending a dime. And now there's so much resource online. There's so much online training, both free and paid. There's YouTube. There's a lot of opportunity for training. Harness them, organize them, but start by identifying where the gaps are so that you know what you are going for. Not just, I want to train, so I just pick up anything and start training. No, it must be directed to solve a problem. It must be directed to achieve a goal within the organization. Some people are working in your organization and they are using your organization as a stepping stone to wherever they want to go next. They are whiling away time while they are with you. So whenever you ask them what training they need, they will tell you they want to do a training in industrial chemistry because that's where they are going. That's not what they want to, that's not what they are doing here. And because that's where they are going, that's what they think the training they need. That's what I'm talking about here. Your training must be linked to the gaps you find in the work that has been done, on the goals that have been achieved now. So it's not a wishful list of what would you like to be trained on. I want to train in aeronautics engineering, where you're handling an FM site behind the generator, trying to ensure that the gen is always available. And then give feedback to people. People who work for you. If you are negative in the way you address them, they will not make a high performance team. But you will still need to chastise people when they do certain things wrongly to create trouble for the team. So how do you do this? You know, it's specific and direct. Focus on facts, not feelings. Think about the words you speak when you're trying to provide discipline to someone who is erring. Is it based on your feelings or on the facts of what has happened? If you are telling somebody you are lazy, you are basing it on feelings. Because lazy is not an event that just happened. You are not addressing something that's a problem. You are a latecomer. It's not an event. It's not something that you can say is a fact that you are dealing with. No, deal with what happened. Avoid anger, avoid sarcasm. Be professional but sincere. Share what you have observed, not personal interpretation of the facts. Be appreciative, show appreciation in positive feedback. So whenever you are giving positive feedback, give it freely. Don't say to get it, make your head big. No, no, no. Give it freely. Because that also gives you enough power and impetus to give a negative feedback constructively. So that's why we don't call it negative feedback. We say constructive feedback. Constructive criticism. It helps people develop. It helps them grow. When mistakes happen, of course, you need to learn from it through simple tools like root cause analysis. Root cause analysis sounds like a very big technical terminology, but it's just a simple sit down with the person or the team and ask why 5 times. Why did this happen? 1, 2, 3 possible whys. Pick each one. Why did this one happen? 1, 2, 3 possible whys at different levels. At the bottom of all of those whys, there you have your root causes. Deal with those root causes, and you can be very rest assured that the top level mistakes will not happen again. But because you are giving people latitude to make mistakes and grow and be creative and be innovative, does not mean you will not set boundaries. Oh, you will set boundaries. Any environment that does not have any disciplinary system would not succeed, because by the nature of man, we are wired to be wayward naturally. It takes effort to be disciplined. So if you allow a laissez-faire environment where make all the mistakes you want, feel free. We'll cope with all. Then you'll be rest assured you are not making any progress. Okay, so even though you are encouraging experimentation, there must be boundaries. There are certain lines that can't be crossed. For example, someone cannot tell a client, for example, don't worry, you're not going to pay for the service we have rendered to you, as a way to encourage the client to come back again, for example. No. Everybody has their level of powers, authority they can use for experimentation. Those standards must be clear from the onset. Address problems immediately. View problems realistically and be fair. Sometimes some problems are work-related. Difficult challenge, trying to crack this nut. Everybody can put their heads together, brainstorm, get ideas. Sometimes some problems are conflicts between team members. You can't ignore them. You must look into them. You must address them. Work with facts all the time. What are the traits of great leaders? If you want to lead a high-performing team, leaders of high-performance teams are people with vision. The vision inspires the team members. You communicate the vision to your followers. The vision must be compelling, must be clear, must contain compelling imagery. You must be able to compare it to something that they can relate with. It has to be something that can be achieved. Oh, well, we started a business, we are still, not doing 5-10 million in turnover. And you say, let's set a goal for 10 trillion as our goal for next year, right? Of course, people will look at you and say, is it losing it or what? Something that can be achieved. Something that you already know that if we all put in our best efforts with the right tools and the right resources, we'll be able to achieve. It should also be timely, which means it's something that the environment or the ecosystem would accept. A leader must cultivate patience. You must be able to see things from other people's point of view. There are certain natural biases that we are born with. Stereotypes. Some are tribal. Nepotistic tendencies. Some are chauvinistic. Some guys don't believe that women should be in certain positions. Some people have that age mentality. If you're a certain age, you are not this. If you're a certain age, you are that. Forget all of those stereotypes and biases and be objective when looking at things from people's point of view. And then, as a leader, you must always recognize that you have your own shortcomings. You'll be a very bad leader if you try to use guilt and fear on people to massage or cover the shortcomings that you have. You must also have a sense of humility. Admit your shortcomings. Engage in self-reflection. Do not micromanage people. Don't say, if you want it done well, do it yourself. That is so, I don't know what part of that statement came from. It has walked many people into their graves, early graves, because they don't believe people can do things and do it well. And that's the same reason they have not shared visions clearly. Of course, don't be so uptight. If you want to work in a team, there must be some level of cheerfulness in the environment, some humor. Courage to ask for feedback. How did I do? Sometimes it erupts on our ego to admit that we have made a mistake. There are certain realities that we should face, but we don't want to face them. And we don't like people talking back to say, I don't think that is correct. No, that's wrong. Allow debate. Let's Let's discuss. Of course, remember that everything must be done in an atmosphere of respect. Atmosphere of respect. While you are doing all of this, remember that as a leader, you are the ultimate authority or accountable party. All compliance stops, the buck stops on your desk. So company goals, company ethics, company rules, procedures, enforcement is all yours. The leader of the team is responsible for complying with all of them. You cannot tell the team, do as I say and not as I do. You must lead by example. Be sensitive to people and speak carefully. Think about the things you say, because people who run away from jobs often are running away from their bosses. Think about it. Be sensitive to the feelings of people. Don't be rash and brash. Don't walk on people's heads. Some leaders or managers get to the point of verbal abuse just because people work for you. Gratitude. What are you thankful for? How do you appreciate people that work for you, your team? Do you listen to them? I even pray for my team members. Very powerful. Because if you are grateful for them, if you care for them, you will do things that will help them succeed, both in their own lives and in the work that they are doing. Let employees be idealists. You have to use questions to get them to speak. Let employees talk to you. Don't wall them off. Someone said if you tell people to shut up, they will not only shut up, they will shut their brains down. The day you tell them to speak, they will end up speaking with their brains still shut down, and they will speak rubbish. Avoid negative criticism. Understand tone, provide solutions, focus on employee strengths. Give praise, we talked about this. Focus on specific accomplishment. It doesn't help when you keep saying, oh, this person is always this nice, this person is always good, this person is always cheerful, this person is always productive. No. Please be specific when you are giving praise. So it doesn't look as if you are being unfair or necessarily nice, or being playing favoritism rather towards one particular person in your team. One-on-one with employees. I try to do this once or twice a year. If you can do it monthly, if you can do it quarterly, if you can do it weekly, depending on the size of your team, makes a lot of sense. Because there are a lot of things you can hear from talking one-on-one with a team member that you will not get when you are in a group. So don't take it for granted. If you do have a high-performing team, you need to be able to maintain them. Don't allow a high-performing team to disband or to leave. Give them visibility, recognize employees, assign highly visible tasks. People, don't be afraid to give challenging tasks. I've seen some managers or leaders in organizations, they take on all of the tasks to themselves. They have many people around them who are just doing peripheral or little things here and there. I ask why. I say, no, they cannot do it. I'm the only one that can do it. No, challenge people with tasks that helps them grow. Don't keep everything to yourself. Recommend people for a promotion as well. Keep them entertained. There should be events, social events, parties. I used to have family day out where I would ask all my staff to come with all of their families, and then we'll have a monthly party. It used to be fun. Have time out. Thank God this Friday happens in some organizations. It helps to build that system of high performance. And then give rewards. Yes, rewards. I like the free lunch part. It sounded like a very tough thing to implement until I said, you know what, let's try it out. And for more than 1 year, we have not gone under. We are still doing the free lunch daily for everybody that works in the organization. And yet we are still performing well. You could be afraid that, oh, if we give all this reward, we can't afford it. No, think about it this way. If people will get paid for doing mediocre job, whatever you add to incentivize high performance, those little perks that you drop in here and there, they can double the value that you get from the efforts. And they not leave people on their own, provide them with mentors. Talk about how you as a leader can be a mentor to some, how they can also be paired within the organization, depending on how large the organization is. Just someone who can check in once in a while to see how somebody is doing. You just need to understand when and how to augment team performance. Offer authority, encouraging questions, resolving differences, and practicing unanimity with the team. One of the greatest tools that you can offer employees is the authority to make decisions. This level of empowerment makes employees stakeholders in the organizations. They become they'll have vested interests. They'll be able to take accountability for their decisions because you've given them the power to act. Of course, we don't leave it quickly resolve differences, recognize conflicts exist, clarify situation, and this is simple discussion. It's not okay, we're wrapping up now. We've looked at high performance team. I'm going to give you words from the wise. Chris Bradford said, only by binding together as a single force will we remain strong and unconquerable. And Runsukil Satoru, individually we are one drop, together we are an ocean. Think about this in your profession as a facility manager. Think about the service you deliver. Think about the teams you work with and improve on your team performance. That's our lesson for today. If you have questions, you're free to ask now. Just raise your hand and I'll recognize you and then we'll be able to take your questions. Could be a question, could be a comment. Okay. Okay, so just a quick recap on how you can get the material. This particular training we had this evening is available live on YouTube. Just go to Max-Migold channel and share it from there on YouTube. Go to courses.maxmigold.com and take the full course, e-learning certificates for just 5,000 Naira. There are about 150 little courses like this that you can take from that e-learning platform, and you can use that to close gaps in various areas of your profession and your work for just 5,000 Naira each. For those of us who are joining the Facility Management Mastercraft program, it's starting on Tuesday, maxmigold.com/FMMC. Share that link with others who may be interested. We want to get people who are comprehensively trained in facility management, as many as possible. For those of us who are not yet members of the Nigeria FM initiative, or you have any question and you want a link to join the professional body for FMs in Nigeria, chat me up 080-220-20122, 080-220-20122, and I'll share the link with you. Ask any questions you may have on that WhatsApp chat as well. That's where we're going to wrap it for this evening. I have 3 hands up. I'm going to let Femi speak. Femi Ladile, you can unmute and speak.
Good evening, Mr. Paul. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. That's a